manhunt chase ends in a crash after a carjacking spree, the pursuit that led police through several different towns.
A house in a possible explosion, and firefighters fear the worst for the woman who lived inside.
Heavy rains leave neighborhoods underwater.
After some huge rainfall totals, drier days in the forecast, plus chance to top 50 degrees again.
And checking your blood pressure, the big question you have to ask your doctor at your next checkup.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 5 starts right now.
We begin with breaking news, a wild police chase with crime scenes in at least 4 cities, carjackings, gunfire, and it all ends with a crash. Sources tell WBZ this all started last night with a carjacking in Haverhill. Good evening, everybody. I'm Paula Evans.
And I'm Jonathan Elias. Good to have you along this evening. Police believe the man responsible for that carjacking in Haverhill made his way then to Newton. And that's where this afternoon's chase began. But the pursuit went through Newton, Billerica, Concord, and Bedford before it ended with a crash in Bedford. Now, our team coverage begins with Jim Armstrong in Newton. That's where the crash started. And, Jim, there are a lot of moving parts with this crime spree.
A lot of pieces to put together, Jonathan, absolutely. The good news for the afternoon commute here in Newton is at least the roads are finally reopened. Behind me here was just one of many scenes, not just in Newton, but throughout the state, as you mentioned. All of them believed to be connected to the same 2 suspects, one of whom is in custody right now.
And he just pulled out all his way through this. And
A rude wake-up call around 5 this morning.
when I got here, the police were already here. There was about 30 of them. There was about 15 different kinds of cruisers.
A car had come screaming to Ashmont Street, jumping the curb and mowing down a fence, then continuing across the street, nearly plowing into the Farina home.
Another few feet, he would have crashed right into the house.
2 men ran from this scene, abandoning their car, which police think carjacked from someone in Haverhill earlier this morning.
It's sick, usually.
Then, around 1 p.m., Newton police called to this scene on Lincoln Street, a couple blocks away, after someone came to this woman's front door and grabbed her keys from inside when she opened.
I said, "What are you doing?" I said to him, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Picked it up his shirt." He had a gun. And he says, "Don't give me any trouble."
Moments later, that car, driven by a suspect, plowed through the intersection of Washington and Watertown Streets in West Newton, slamming into 3 cars, sending one driver to the hospital.
The lady was shaken up because they probably moved her car about 5 or 10 feet from being hit.
When Newton police intervened, the situation got worse.
The vehicle sped towards that officer. The officer had to discharge his weapon. The weapon was discharged. At this time, we don't know if the vehicle or the suspect was struck.
All the women at the bank went under their desks because they heard the gunshot.
The Newton police this afternoon saying they are still looking for one other suspect on the loose. It's a very complicated case to put together, as you can imagine. You've got a lot of different jurisdictions, a lot of different people who are investigating right now. These pieces of this puzzle are still being put together. Live in Newton, Jim Armstrong, WBZ News. Jonathan and Paula, back to you.
Unbelievable. Jim, thanks. And our team coverage now moves to Bedford, where Kate Merrill is at the location where the chase ended. And what a scene there, Kate.
It is still a very active scene, Paula. This is where it all ended here in Bedford. We're on the property of the VA hospital right now. Take a look. You can see there still crime scene up around. The car that he stole in Concord is now smashed into a pole down there, but not before he exchanged gunfire with police.
Pretty wild. It was heart-pounding.
Jason Drinkwater watched as a man racing a stolen car being chased by police crashed in Concord outside the Rite Aid.
They put down spike strips right behind us here at the pumps, and when the car hit him, they actually flew into the gas station. He went off the road right here and never made it back onto the road.
But that's when police say the man carjacked another car from a woman at that Rite Aid and took off into Bedford. He went into Hanscom Air Force Base, then Concord again, and then back to Bedford.
We do know the operator of the vehicle was armed and dangerous.
This is where the suspect finally crashed and was caught, but not before shots were fired. In fact, you can see the bullet holes in this car in Concord.
We don't know at this point how many shots were fired. We do know there was shots exchanged between the police and the suspect, and it was multi-jurisdictional, and our investigation will determine where and when.
Police tell us the man had visible injuries. He's in the hospital now. He is alert and awake. And amazingly, no one else was injured in all of this. Some of the police officers I talked to throughout these various towns say they, at some point, were going more than 80 miles an hour, and that suspect was going even faster than that. A very dangerous afternoon in all of these towns. live in Bedford this afternoon. Kate Merrill, WBZ News. Guys, back to you in the studio.
Good thing they got him. Kate, thank you. There's also breaking news to tell you about in New Hampshire, a possible house explosion in the town of Danville. It does appear that an elderly woman who lives inside was killed. Firefighters have not been able to get into the home yet to search for the woman. A Meals on Wheels worker was at the house to make a delivery when he says the house exploded. You're going to hear from that worker coming up in a live report on WBZ News at 6 o'clock.
Right now, the rain is winding down, but the flooding isn't. Earlier today, firefighters went door to door in Lowell. They made sure everyone was accounted for on Wentworth Avenue. That entire street is flooded out, and many homeowners are stranded inside. Some in the neighborhood say beaver dams are clogging the street's draining system.
I've got about that much water in the basement. Fortunately for me, I would evacuate if I was told I had to, but the firefighter said no. He said, you know, keep my eye on the furnace, and right now he said it'll be okay.
And Route 4 in Chelmsford is still closed after a sinkhole swallowed part of the road over the weekend. Crews say the repairs there will take several days. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher has his eye on the storm. Boy, this is becoming a costly couple of days, Eric.
Yeah, a lot of rainfall with this one. The biggest storm we've seen in a couple of months at least. Going back to June, you have to find a stretch where we had so much rain come down in short order. And we do have a number of rivers that do have minor flooding occurring right now. We'll put this full list up on our Facebook page and on Twitter. And you can also find it on the Weather Service site. It's all minor flooding, the water coming up, and we'll be cresting this afternoon for most of those rivers. The Merrimack won't crest until tomorrow, but that too into minor flood. The usual suspects when you get spring flooding dealing with some of these issues. The rain totals have been astronomical, between 3.5 and 5.5 inches of rain across the area. So big numbers. Some of this just drained its way off, and of course we've seen some towns that have seen quite a bit of impact from it. The last of the rain showers, some sleet pellets and snowflakes mixing in across the Cape and the islands, and then the storm is going to move out tonight. We've still got north-northeasterly winds that's piling up some water, bringing in a small surge. There'll be minor flooding around the midnight high tide tonight. Eastern Massachusetts, the Cape, and down toward Nantucket, all seeing the impact from that. Overall, we will see the rain wind down. There'll be some partial clearing, plus we can get some sunshine before it goes down tonight. And temperatures fall into the 20s. So there will be some icy spots that are going to be out and about there. So be careful traveling overnight. And these seas will stay high. Mary sent this picture in at Dennis. Big wave action, 10 to 11 footers just off the coast. Now we'll talk about the drier and much more desirable weather to kick off April coming up in a little bit. Jonathan?
Eric, we'll see you then. Thanks. Hundreds of people will be in Watertown tomorrow to honor Boston Fire Lieutenant Ed Walsh. Walsh's wake will be held from 3 o'clock until 8 o'clock at St. Patrick's Church. The funeral will be Wednesday morning. Walsh and firefighter Michael Kennedy were killed last week in the fire on Bean Street. Kennedy's wake is scheduled for Wednesday from 4 o'clock until 8 o'clock at the Murray Funeral Home on Center Street in West Roxbury. His funeral will be on Thursday at Holy Name Church at 11 o'clock in the morning. And if you would like to help the firefighters' families, you can do so by giving to the memorial fund that's been set up at the department's credit union. Donations can be made to the Lieutenant Walsh Firefighter Kennedy Memorial Fund at the Boston Firefighters Credit Union. The address, 60 Howlett Street, Dorchester, zip code 02124. And you can also make a donation by credit card on bossfirecu.com. Now again, all this information, we've posted it on our website to make it easy for you at cbsboston.com.
It was a rough morning for drivers in the Tip O'Neill Tunnel. There were 4 separate accidents on the northbound side of the tunnel at the same time. It's hard to see here, but one of them will be on the left-hand side of the screen there. This was all around 7:30 this morning, the height of rush hour. A total of 19 cars were involved, and 1 person was hurt.
Went too fast there. Well, the Red Sox season is underway. We're dealing with gloomy weather, but look at this. The sun is shining in Baltimore for the season opener. The Red Sox are on the road hoping to bank a couple of wins before they come to Fenway for the home opener.
So beautiful. Camden Yards in Baltimore is certainly a friendly spot, generally filled with Red Sox fans. And today was no exception. Dan Roach at Camden Yards for the season opener in Baltimore. Dan, as you look at the 2014 season and these world champions, a lot of experts aren't picking them to win again. They have Tampa finishing ahead of the Red Sox. Do you think they love that underdog status?
Absolutely. I think any team takes that and it kind of puts it on their shoulder and goes forward. Remember, last year they got a last place finish, so it was us against the world. This year, same type of thing. Remember, no team has repeated since the 2000 Yankees when they won it in 99 and 2000, so it's not easy to do. And I think the Red Sox will gather around each other. They feel good about it. They feel good talking baseball, being around baseball, being together as a team. What translates onto the field, we'll find out. But right now, they feel good and they want that us against them mentality.
they blend in the new young players that are going to be in the clubhouse and approach this whole season coming off the World Series championship?
Well, that'll be the big question. How do the new guys fit in? You start with Bogarts, who will be here on a full-time basis, playing shortstop, the everyday shortstop, taking over Stephen Drew. You Will Middlebrooks be consistent and stay here. And then Grady Sizemore, he's a veteran, but new to this team, new to the game, hasn't played in 2 years because of injuries. How does he fit in? A.J. Brzezinski and his temperament coming in as the catcher, taking over for Salty. All questions that will need to unfold here in the coming months. We'll see how they fit in.
And Big Papi's struggling a little bit in spring training?
Yeah, but he says he gets bored. That's no big surprise for David. Think about the spotlight he was in just a few months ago. Down to spring training every day and kind of go through the routine. Must be tough for him. He loves the spotlight, so maybe he'll start to crank it up as we go along here.
Now, last year, you might remember, one brave fan predicted the Red Sox would win it all. He was right. So how's he feeling about this season? John shows us. That's coming up at 6. And tomorrow, the Red Sox celebrate their World Championship with a visit to the White House. And our Dan Roach will be there. Jonathan?
Well, Paula, heavy traffic has crashed the healthcare website again. Today is the deadline to at least start the enrollment process. But as Craig Boswell shows us, it has been another frustrating day for people who want to take advantage of the health insurance overhaul.
The enrollment deadline for the Affordable Care Act is hours away, but website problems are still preventing people from signing up. The website was down for about 6 hours this morning, and then again this afternoon.
There is a technical problem that the tech team is on.
And people hoping to sign up in person waited in long lines.
I really didn't want to do this. I wanted to get done online, but I couldn't do it.
The phone lines were jammed too.
We're currently experiencing very long wait times due to a surge in demand for marketplace coverage as the end of open enrollment approaches.
Administration officials say more than 1 million people visited healthcare.gov just today. Proof, they say, the president's healthcare law is a success.
There is a huge appetite across the country for access to quality, affordable health care.
But Republicans say the law has been a failure. Some even question the administration's claim that well more than 6 million people have already enrolled.
I don't think it means anything, Chris. I think they're cooking the books on this.
The White House says anyone who has started the process of signing up but hasn't been able to finish it will have another couple of weeks. Oswald for CBS News, Washington.
Coming up on WBZ News, a family trapped in a burning home with 2 people unable to escape, and why firefighters had a tough time getting inside to help them.
You're going to have your blood pressure checked? Researchers here at Mass General say there's something you should ask your doctor to do differently.
A reality star and rapper shot and wounded on Route 3. Police say by his own nephew. Coming up next, whose fast work saved that rapper's life?
Closed captioning is brought to you by Luna.
Buy 2 rooms of flooring with installation and product rest of your home for $99. 877-241. Luna.
Big Apple Circus all-new show, Luminosity. Electrifying excitement, jugglers, acrobats, clowns, horses, dogs, pearls galore at the crossroads of the world. Big Apple Circus all-new show, now playing on City Hall Plaza. BigAppleCircus.org. Buy tickets now.
Remember when you had your first dental exam? When your braces were finally taken off? When you may have had a dental emergency and it was quickly treated? When you looked at your smile and you were so happy with it that you smiled back? Chances are the Massachusetts Dental Society was there for you then, as we have been for generations of families since 1864. When you trust your mouth to an MDS member, remember, you're always in good hands.
I must begin my journey, which will cause me to miss the end of the game.
The X1 Entertainment operating system lets you watch live TV anywhere.
Can I watch it in Butterfly Valley?
Sure.
Can I watch it in Glimmering Lake?
Yep, here too.
What about the Dark Castle? You call that defense? Come on.
Watch live TV anywhere. The X1 Entertainment operating system, only from Xfinity.
That was awesome.
How do you make your family vacation this epic? Go to visitflorida.com.
Big Apple Circus all-new show, Luminosity. Electrifying excitement, jugglers, acrobats, clowns, horses, dogs, thrills galore at the crossroads of the world. Big Apple Circus all-new show, now playing on City Hall Plaza. BigAppleCircus.org. Buy tickets now.
Bizarre and dangerous family feud. A rapper and reality star shot while in a funeral procession, and police say the gunman was his own nephew. Now, the reality star isn't shy when it comes to talking about what happened this weekend on the South Shore.
But as Bill Shields shows us, if it hadn't been for the Duxbury EMS crews, that man wouldn't be able to tell anyone his story.
A day after being shot, Raymond Scott was in his hospital bed and talking about the incident that almost took his life.
There was a lot of blood. So the first thing was to make sure I get shot in my chest. You know what I'm saying? So I was like breathing, I was driving, trying to get away.
Ray Scott is also known as Benzino, a rapper who for a time was on top of the hip-hop music world. But Saturday, he was being shot at.
So I kind of maneuvered the vehicle, jumped out the vehicle, and then started running down the middle of the highway.
Raymond Scott says he was on his way to a visit a friend in Plymouth when he was shot on Route 3 in Duxbury. And the shooter? Allegedly this man, Guy Scott, Raymond's nephew.
Commonwealth has filed a motion for dangerousness.
It's a strange tale, now underscored by attempted murder. Police say Ray Scott was in this red Jeep Saturday when he was shot on Route 3, and that his nephew shot him because of long-standing family disputes over money. Ironically, Guy Scott was in a funeral procession for Raymond Scott's mother when he allegedly took the shots at his own uncle, who was hit in the shoulder. A relative drove Raymond Scott here into Duxbury, and that was a good move because paramedics may have, in fact, saved his life.
Our medics use their training experience. They use tourniquet, IV.
Was his life in danger?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Court records indicate this is Guy Scott's first run-in with police, but when he was arrested, they found not one, but 3 handguns in his car. As for the rapper Ray Scott, well, he's been released from the hospital. In Duxbury, I'm Bill Shields, WBZ News.
Tonight, Boston police say that the gun buyback program that they've been using seems to be working because about 135 guns have been turned in so far. It's a program that just launched last week. The police now are looking for working guns. They will not be resold. They will be destroyed. Residents do get a gift certificate for each gun they turn in, and they stress this program is anonymous.
We stress that this is anonymous. When you turn in a gun, we do not ask your name or any personal information about you. We just want everyone to get these guns off the streets.
What they do before they destroy these guns, they will test each of these guns to see if it's connected to any crime. But again, the police stress it is a no questions asked program. So it was kind of an interesting weekend of weather. We had a little bit of everything, including some flooding, but a lot of snow has melted off.
We do. When you look at those pictures from Lowell and the sinkholes we ran into.
And Lowell, it's a double whammy from nature because you've got the rain and apparently the beaver dams that are causing a lot of that issue as well. The rain is finally on its way out, I promise, but we will also have some issues through tonight and into tomorrow morning before things start to subside. Flood warnings are out, and these are for multiple counties. You can see big areas, but really they're in effect for particular rivers. I put that information on our Facebook and our Twitter page. You can find it on our website as well. This is the overall storm, looking back 48 hours. We've had so much rain, widespread 3 to as much as 5.5 inches. And notice as this was spinning south of us as we moved toward last night into this morning, right there, changes over to snow quickly down to Connecticut. They had a terrible commute, mainly in that I-91 corridor, and now finally, this is getting a little push off toward the east. Still some light rain, snow, and sleet pellets, little showers here across the Cape and Nantucket. This is going to hang on for a few more hours yet, but the rest of us are just about done with this one in terms of what's actually falling from the sky. Now, different types of impacts. We've got some coastal flooding concerns we'll watch for tonight. It's mainly centered around the midnight high tide cycle. North Shore, down across the Cape, and into Nantucket. There could be some pockets of some minor coastal flooding, some splash over, and some minor beach erosion that goes along with this. This should be the last high tide cycle that's really affected from this particular storm. The Weather Service also has some wind advisories posted. Cape Ann, also Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket, gusts of 40 miles per hour through early tomorrow morning. Not the type of gusts that are going to create damage or power outages, just staying very windy. And then we have the cold coming in behind us. With the clearing skies tonight, we'll fall back in the 20s here, especially central and western Mass, near the freezing mark in Boston, as well as down toward the Taunton area. and so any moisture is going to freeze up later on tonight. So be extra cautious as you travel. A lot of stuff going on here. And for tomorrow, it's a much quieter day. Brighter, chilly in the morning, sunrise at 6:27. Temps close to the freezing mark. By the time we get toward lunch, we're in the 40s. Lots of sunshine, not nearly as much wind. Should feel much more comfortable. We'll start to dry out. The rivers will be falling at this point. And by the evening, we'll see cooler temperatures at the coast, low to mid-40s, but upper 40s to around 50 as you move away from the water. You can see that in the high temp map for tomorrow. Around Worcester, 50, but Boston, 46. Chatham topping out around 42. The wind still coming off a very cold ocean at this point. For the rest of the week, the idea is that things stay pretty quiet overall. As for Tuesday, we've got the sun. We go into Wednesday, still a good amount of sunshine. A front's going to set up for Wednesday and Thursday and Friday off to our west, but a lot of the clouds and a lot of the rain showers all stay out there until we get toward Friday afternoon and into the weekend. So pretty typical temperatures. We'll get a dry stretch so the water levels can go down, and we're watching, of course, the Sox home opener forecast. Right now, going mainly cloudy in the afternoon. Looks like we'll have an onshore wind with temperatures in the low 40s. It's not going to be a warm opening day, but it doesn't look like weather is going to hamper things otherwise. Average high this time of year is 52. We're just on either side of that all the way through Saturday of this weekend. We'll talk more about the weekend and our next storm moving in coming up next half hour. Jonathan, Paula, back to you.
All right, Eric, we'll see you then. And when we come back, getting a true test of your blood pressure.
What you need to ask your doctor the next time you go in for a physical.
And up next for us, connecting classrooms half a world away, what some local teens are learning and sharing with students in Afghanistan. Now let's check in with Jack and Lisa to see what's coming up next at 6.
All right, Jonathan and Paula, thank you. New on our news coming up at 6. A former state trooper is running this year's marathon, all in honor of a young bombing victim.
Sean Murphy took these dramatic pictures of Johar Tsarnaev's capture. Tonight he tells us why he's dedicating his run to 8-year-old Martin Richard.
Also coming up on our news at 6, he picked the Sox to win it all last season. By golly, of course, he was right.
Hear this local man's prediction for the 2014 season coming up on the news at 6.
I usually run first thing in the morning, right when I wake. This is going to be my first Boston Marathon. It's been challenging this winter, but when you train on the course, you see all the different people who are running this race. Having those people around gives you a little extra spirit. So I am raising money for charity. My father passed away early last year, so I decided to start a scholarship fund for Massachusetts students. We're going into fields that were close to his heart. And of course, this year is going to be such a huge one for the city. And to be a part of that is going to be something very special.
It's Empire Today's biggest sale. 50% off carpet, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. Excuse me, do your dentures come with a guarantee?
Guarantee? No.
Okay, hold it. Let's try something new.
Mr. Stevens, your dentures are completely guaranteed.
Really?
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 Wow.
Aspen Dental is doing whatever it takes to give America a healthy mouth, like guaranteeing your dentures or your money back. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL, because your mouth is our mission.
I was impressed with how many great reviews they had.
What makes CertaPro different is that our people really care about making our customers happy.
They asked what they could do to make painting an extraordinary experience for us. And they kept the gate latched.
As written certainty.
CertaPro painters did a wonderful job. They respected our lifestyle and our home.
It's about 5-star craftsmanship and having truly satisfied customers. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, because painting is personal.
Diamonds, the jewelry exchange, is a direct diamond importer and producer. Compare this top chain store's 1-carat solitaires for $3,900 with our certified solitaires for $1,990. Also 1-carat solitaires for $990, 2-carat solitaires $1,990, 2-carat certified solitaires are $59.90, and 1-carat studs are $5.99. The Jewelry Exchange has most sizes and grades of GIA diamonds, thousands of mountings, and your diamond is set while you watch. Buy Diamond and Factory Direct, the Jewelry Exchange in Sudbury.
It's Empire Today's biggest sale. 50% off carpet, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
WBZ is committed to highlighting the brightest ideas and best technology to turn our students into the leaders of the future.
In tonight's Japan, a peek inside a classroom where local kids connect with students in a war-torn country. They're having conversations that bring them closer to girls whose lives might have seemed very far away.
I'm Alicia, and this is...
Learning starts long before classes begin at Sharon Middle School.
Let's take one more global event from each side.
These students got up extra early for a club called Girls Learn International.
We can talk to people all around the world, and I was really surprised that all girls didn't go to school because you have to go to school here.
For the second time this year, they're video conferencing with girls at the Zabuli Center in Afghanistan, and it is an eye-opener. They exchange ideas from every day.
We had a lot of snow.
To the profound.
During this video conference, a girl told us about how she thought knowledge meant power. And that was very interesting because you'd hear that here too, but most kids like my age wouldn't say that.
Teacher Laura Smolka says a simple internet connection has allowed these girls to bond with their peers and learn from children across the globe in a way that never seemed possible before.
What's the most valuable thing the girls get from this experience? As different as Afghanistan is from Sharon, Massachusetts, I think that they have similarities, whether it's through music and art and reading.
And listen to the impact these conversations have had. What do you think was the most important thing that you learned?
There are a lot of Americans who really, they don't pay attention to the other side of the world. They're in their own little bubble, but there are a lot of us who do care. I think in our country, we kind of take school for granted a little bit. And the fact that they couldn't go to school and that they worked so hard to go to school means a lot more than just going to school because we have to.
And the girls have 2 more video conferences set up this spring. If you'd like to see a similar program at your school, we've put the information about the Ray of Hope Foundation on our website, cbsboston.com. And while you're there, tell me about how technology is being used in your school. Email me at ioneducation@cbs.com or on Twitter @PaulaEvanDate.
What a great program. It also reinforces the world's a much smaller place than you think it is.
Absolutely. Those girls realized they had many more similarities than differences.
Fantastic.
Well, LeBron James, superstar, but his hero right now is a high school basketball.
Coming up for us, the brave girl fighting for her life and how James and his teammates made her dreams come true.
Plus, it's been a handy bonus on some new cars with a safety feature that will now be required on all new models.
And 2 people killed in an early morning house fire. The biggest challenge for firefighters. We'll tell you about that coming up.
Pick your stuff and gas up the car for Wheel Across America. Come along and enjoy the ride.
Go for it!
Next wheel.
What are you doing? They said it was Wheel Across America.
Tonight at 7 on WBZ-TV.
WBZ News is sponsored by Sleepy's, the mattress professionals.
This is a dipstick. Dipstick? You use a dipstick to check your oil like this. Oh. Time for a service before the oil gets low. And the engine.
Come into your local Meineke today for a basic oil change starting at $19.95.
With the claim, pay your bill. Safety's mobile app is just one more way we help you manage life's storms. For auto, home, and business, ask your independent agent about safety insurance.
Buying eyeglasses is personal. Do they make me look too old? Should I get the red ones? Most glasses will improve your vision, but the right glasses are an extension of your personality. Cambridge Eye Doctors is now VisionWorks. Get 2 complete pairs for $99 or 2 pairs of no-line bifocals for $179. VisionWorks, where you'll find more than a pair of glasses, you'll find a better you.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. Blue Cross Blue Shield of you.
A wet basement can be a homeowner's worst nightmare. CrackX, industry leader in foundation crack repair, solves concrete problems permanently and affordably. Call us for a free estimate or visit us at crackx.com. CrackX, 25 years of stopping leaks, guaranteed.
Seeing is believing. Big Apple Circus all-new show, Luma City. Electrifying excitement. Watch record-breaking juggling, high-flying acrobats, hand-to-hand feats of dexterity, heartwarming clowns, jaw-dropping tightrope walkers, syncopated horses, and dancing dogs. You and your family will experience thrills galore, sitting no more than 50 feet from the ring at the crossroads of the world. Big Apple Circus all-new show, now playing on City Hall Plaza. BigAppleCircus.org. Buy tickets now.
Brakes are designed to squeak when they start to go back. So if your brakes sound annoying, like this, then it's time to get your brakes inspected.
Go to your local Monarchy today for 50% off brake pads and shoes.
Former Police Commissioner Ed Davis joins the WBZ News team as our exclusive security analyst. Insight only Ed can offer. Only WBZ News.
Now at 5:30, two breaking stories. A carjacking suspect caught after a chase that ended with a crash in Bedford. Police say the man responsible for the carjacking in Haverhill last night may have robbed someone today in Newton. That's where the chase started. It wound through 3 towns before ending in the crash.
A possible house explosion in Danville, New Hampshire. An elderly woman lives alone in this house. A Meals on Wheels worker says that he was making a delivery when the blast went off. Firefighters have not been able to get into the home as of yet.
And a family trapped when fire breaks out in their home and 2 people could not escape. Neighbors and firefighters tried to help when this fire broke out in the home on East Street late last night.
But as our Sarah Kanji shows us, this was a very difficult fire to control.
There was so much smoke filling the neighborhood that at first firefighters had a hard time even seeing where the fire was coming from. 9 people were inside this home. 7 of them escaped, 2 did not.
It happened really, really fast.
Fire tore through this home on East Street in Fitchburg around 11:30 last night. Neighbors rushed to get people out, including 2 children.
The entrance was on fire. There's a side door that also leads to the kitchen that was already engulfed in flames.
7 people on the first floor and in the basement escaped through windows and doors, but firefighters found 2 adults on the second floor, later pronounced dead. Neighbors say they are all part of the same family.
And a long, hard night for them.
Tammy Argoyes runs a community organization and helps some of the survivors with clothes and shelter.
In shock, shaken up, doesn't know what to think.
Fitchburg fire officials say it was a tough fire to contain because there was so much smoke and so much clutter inside the building.
It was rather a small building and had 9 people living in it, so it had rather a heavy fire load on all floors, which obviously causes more problems for us.
Deputy Chief Roy says they believe the fire started on the first floor. The State Fire Marshal's office was also on scene to help determine what caused the fire. Meanwhile, the neighborhood is praying for the family.
I really hope that everyone that was pulled out of the fire is still doing okay.
One of the residents who managed to escape, we're told the grandfather of the home had to be taken to the hospital suffering from smoke inhalation. In Fitchburg, I'm Sarah Kanji, WBZ News.
The victims have since been identified. The DA says that 39-year-old Lisa Engelhart and 22-year-old Christopher Brinkley were killed in that fire. One man is in critical condition. He is 65-year-old Frank Huckins Sr.
Tonight, a Brookline mother who believes her son is being mistreated is suing the State Prisons Department. Joanne Minnick says her son is restrained and held in isolation for long periods of time, sometimes as much as 50 hours at a time. Doctors diagnosed 31-year-old Peter Minnick with paranoid schizophrenia. He has not been convicted of a crime. Minnick was transferred to Bridgewater State Hospital after accusations that he assaulted a staff member at another mental health facility.
Prison is not a therapeutic place and environment for anybody with an organic brain disease. The excessive use of restraint, seclusion, and minimal amount of human contact that he has been afforded have been egregiously detrimental to him.
Lawyers say Minnick was restrained for episodes such as yelling, having hallucinations, and bothering another patient. The Department of Correction and officials at Bridgewater State Hospital not commenting tonight.
There's a lot of concern in the towns of Leominster tonight. A man who worked in those towns for years as a youth football coach is being charged with sexually assaulting a boy. And as our Ken McLeod tells us, the victim is one of his former players.
For more than a decade, he coached Pop Warner football on the fields of Leominster and Lunenburg. But this morning, Benjamin Browse was charged with sexually assaulting a young player over a 3-year span.
The relationship between the alleged victim in this case and Mr. Browse is that he was his youth football coach.
The teenage boy says he was 12 when Browse first began plying him with alcohol, showing him porn, and indecently assaulting him here at the suspect's Leominster apartment and inside his parked car elsewhere.
I'm a little upset and disturbed by it. I got kids in the system.
Court papers don't say how or why the teen came forward now, but the 36-year-old electrician was arrested Friday.
It just sent everybody back a little bit. Just don't expect it in your own backyard.
The handcuffed suspect has entered a not guilty plea. If Browse makes his $15,000 cash bail, he'll have to wear a GPS bracelet, stay away from youth sporting events, and steer clear of Lunenburg High School, where his now 17-year-old accuser is a student.
We'd also ask that Mr. Browse be ordered to hold no position as a coach or a mentor.
Two of the suspect's friends, his lawyer, and his father all declined comment, as did some youth sports officials in town, citing their attorney's advice. Folks who coach youngsters often undergo criminal background checks, but Browse has no prior record.
Things slip through the cracks. It happens.
Police are now waiting to see if Browse's arrest will prompt other kids or parents to come forward. In Leominster, Ken McLeod, WBZ News.
2 high school hockey coaches suspended when their players were found drinking have now been cleared. Police now say a Winthrop High School graduate who lives in East Boston is the one who brought the beer for the players, and the coaches knew nothing about it. Police are charging that alone, but they are not the players. We asked the Winthrop School Department if the coaches are going to be reinstated, but a spokesman says that he just can't comment on personals.
The New Hampshire couple discovered murdered after a house explosion will be laid to rest this week as authorities try to track down their son. Constance and Robert Dion were killed in their home 1 week ago today. Their wakes will be on Thursday, the funeral on Friday. Police are trying to find their son Matthew, who hasn't been seen since shortly before the explosion that destroyed their Manchester home. 4 police officers who were shot in New Hampshire 2 years ago are suing the ATF. The officers were wounded in Greenland during a drug raid where the town's police chief was killed. The officers say the ATF is refusing to share records, which could help them with their lawsuit against the gunman's mother. The officers believe the mother, Beverly Mutry, supplied her sons with the weapons used in the deadly shooting.
The health mark building over the last couple of days. Rain widespread 2 to 4 as promised from this storm. It has been very slow to move out. In a couple towns, even over 5 inches of rainfall since on Saturday. Acushnet, one of those towns, 5.5 inches of total rain. Needless to say, I think we're all just about done with this one. There is still some river flooding that's on most of these different rivers, all at minor flood stage. Many of them will crest this evening, and they'll be falling as we head into the day tomorrow. A lot of dry weather for the rest of this week will help that out. But still some concern, and certainly a lot of standing water in a lot of our yards. The last of the rain showers and snow showers moving down across Cape Cod and the islands this evening. We will watch one more high tide cycle with winds still out of the north-northeast. And this is going to bring some minor coastal flooding from Cape Ann right on down toward Cape Cod. Also a bit of erosion toward the shoreline as well. Moves out, and the winds stay gusty. Again, Cape Ann, Cape and the islands seeing most of the impact here. Gust of 40 through tomorrow morning. We have a lot of dry weather in the forecast and some warmer temperatures. Details on that coming up. Jonathan?
Eric, we'll see you then. Thanks. A driver crashed right into a rain-swollen river in Providence over the weekend. Look at that. That's a Jeep, or at least the top of it. Police say the driver made a wrong turn and ended up in the water near a bridge on Charles Street in Providence. The driver was able to get out safely, not so much for his Jeep. In fact, firefighters are going to have to wait until the river calms down before they can winch this thing out.
Coming up, they can help you spot a rolling ball, a bike, a small child, the upgrade that can stop accidents before they happen, and when they'll be required in all new cars.
And a long romantic tale comes to an end. The finale of How I Met Your Mother, and who is going to miss the show even more than the fans?
Show me the movies with the Arnold Schwarzenegger, with the stunts and loud explosions and all the muscles.
I want to see the comedy programming with the people sitting in the living room with the children. Much brother. Yeah, I want to see the Real Housewives. Right, play. All right, rewind, play.
Jimmy, please. It's been hours. We told you the X1 Entertainment operating system really does work with any voice.
Cool. What's on now?
Control your TV with your voice. The X1 Entertainment operating system. Only from Xfinity.
At Plymouth Rock Assurance, you'll get more than what you might expect from a typical insurance company. You're treated like a person, not a number. Thanks to our unique one-stop online shopping experience, you get the best of both worlds. The convenience of online quoting and buying with the support of one of our local independent agents. If you want, our agents can help you compare prices from other companies to make sure you're getting the best policy for you. Visit us at PlymouthRock.com to find out how you can get more. More than just insurance. Plymouth Rock Assurance.
I was impressed with how many great reviews they had.
What makes CertaPro different is that our people really care about making our customers happy.
They asked what they could do to make painting an extraordinary experience for us. And they kept the gate latched.
We work from a personalized written certainty pledge.
CertaPro painters did a wonderful job. They respected our lifestyle and our home.
It's about 5-star craftsmanship and having truly satisfied customers. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, because painting is personal.
Discover more thrills than ever before on over 4,500 big-hitting slots. From the games you know and love to the newest titles and the winning you can imagine. For a limited time, bring a hard copy of your recent Connecticut bonus play offer to Twin River. And when you join the Rewards Club, Twin River will match your offer with $400 in bonus play. Only at Twin River Casino. So much more, so close.
You'll notice the Goya difference even before you taste it. Add plump and tasty Goya low-sodium beans to your favorite recipes and see for yourself. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
Looking to sell your underused RV or boat? Turn to the premier brokerage specialists at Route 125 RV and Marine and let them turn your RV or boat into cash. Route 125 RV and Marine takes the hassle out of selling. They're open 7 days a week, they offer on-the-spot financing, and they get results. Call 1-800-CONSIGN today and find out how their trained professionals can get the cash you need for your underused RV or boat. Pickup is free anywhere in New England. Call 1-800-CONSIGN today.
All this March, don't miss the most exciting event in college basketball. Who will be stopped and who will be unstoppable? Catch all the game day action on WBZ. Sponsored locally by the professional MBA at Bentley University.
Tonight, two very bored-looking teenagers will finally get to the end of a story that has taken, years to tell.
That's right. The last episode of How I Met Your Mother airs tonight at 8. For the last 9 years, fans have been through the romantic misadventures of Ted Mosby and his friends, which build up to the moment when Ted met the mother of his children. Fans will miss the show, but the actors may miss it more.
It really has become a family.
It's just a great environment. I'm really pleased with how we're sending our characters off. I think it's just such a beautiful way to say goodbye to them.
And then right after How I Met Your Mother, you'll get the chance to meet a new gang.
Friends with Better Lives. That follows 6 people, all at different stages of their lives, and each one thinks everyone else has it better than they do. Grass is always greener kind of thing. We spoke with 2 of the stars today, James Vanderbeek and Brooklyn Decker. They say the cast has great chemistry, which really translates well on screen.
Yeah, you can't fake it.
You can't. And I think the audience really picks up on that. And frankly, it comes down to luck. I think we were very lucky that we have 6 people who genuinely liked each other, which, let me tell you, that's an anomaly in this world. So we're really lucky that we all genuinely get along. We hang out outside of the show.
Certainly as a bonus, the How I Met Your Mother finale is tonight at 8 o'clock. Friends with Better Lives is at 9 o'clock.
Getting your blood pressure checked? The important question you need to ask at your next physical. Dr. Malika Marshall is here. She joins us up next.
And still some flooding concerns out there this evening, but the rain is moving out. There are drier times ahead. We'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes.
Lieutenant Walsh and firefighter Kennedy put their lives on the line to keep our community safe.
Acts of bravery and selflessness that will never be forgotten.
Now it's time for us to come together and support the families of Boston's bravest.
Please join CBS Boston in supporting the Memorial Fund.
Go to BostonFireFightersCreditUnion.com to see how you can make a donation.
Let's help make a difference together.
CBS Boston cares.
That was awesome.
How do you make your family vacation this epic? Go to visitflorida.com.
thing about the Vernon Cancer Center is that we have high expertise in the medical oncology field who provide compassion, care, understanding for patients and their families as they go through this journey of cancer. We strive to have a multidisciplinary approach to cancer care, including supportive services. I think a good doctor shows compassion, caring, the ear to listen, and helping the patient through their journey.
AdCare Hospital is a medical facility specializing in the treatment of alcohol and drug addiction.
From hospital level of care to outpatient services, AdCare provides individualized treatment.
Call 1-800-345-3552 or visit adcare.com.
Don't miss the Bach Honda Spring into a Honda sales event at one of our 2 great locations. Bach Honda on the Auto Mile, Route 1 in Norwood, or Bach Honda West on Littleton Road in Westford, Mass. Drive home a brand new Honda Civic for just $39 per month. That's right, lease a brand new Honda Civic for just $39 per month. 2 great Bach Honda locations, 1 legendary low Bach Honda price.
This is the Name Your Price tool. It gives you options based on your budget. It's a piece of cake. I was told there would be cake. Get a free quote at Progressive.com.
CBS Money Watch Stock Update is brought to you by Citizens Bank. Good banking is good citizenship.
On the Health Watch tonight, most of us have had our blood pressure checked using whichever arm is most convenient at the time.
And Dr. Malika Marshall now joins us to tell us that it's not just one arm that's going to work. You got to have both arms done.
That's right. Now it's going to be roll up your sleeves.
Oh, nice.
Or so it should be. You know, have you ever had your blood pressure checked in both arms at your doctor's office? Well, researchers at Mass General say you probably should. A small difference between the two is normal, but a larger one could mean you're at risk for heart disease.
Patients who have that difference between arms could probably end up developing heart and blood vessel disease.
Hello.
How are you?
Dr. Ido Weinberg, a vascular medicine specialist, and his colleagues at Mass General looked at data on nearly 3,400 local residents over the age of 40 enrolled in the Framingham Heart Study. They found that people with a systolic blood pressure difference of 10 points or more between their arms were 38% more likely to develop a blood vessel disorder, like a heart attack, stroke, or blockages in their legs. The theory is that a significant difference in blood pressure between arms could indicate plaque in the arteries feeding the arm with the higher number. And having plaque in the vessels that feed your arms probably means you have plaque elsewhere too.
I can assume that the reason is probably that if you have blood vessel disease anywhere, you'll probably also have it in your heart and in your brain.
Dr. Weinberg says everyone over the age of 40 should have their blood pressure measured in both their arms at least once in their lifetime.
If you do have a difference, then you'd like your blood pressure to be managed according to the higher of the two. If you do have your blood pressure measured in the office setting and you do find that difference, that may mean that you have an increased risk, and that's something most people may want to know.
So what can you do if your blood pressure is high in general? Well, you know, of course, think of the basics, like don't smoke, stay active and exercise, maintain a healthy weight, eat a diet rich in whole grains and fruits and vegetables and lean meats, and drink alcohol only in moderation. And that is 1 drink a day for women, 1 to 2 for men, no more than that.
So while we're on the topic of heart disease, and this is kind of a related note, there's some new information about marital status and heart disease.
That's right. So this was a study out of New York that looked at married couples, and they found that people who were married, both the men and the women, enjoyed a slightly reduced risk of heart disease compared to widowed people, divorced people, and single people.
Interesting.
So more than 3 million people studied, small differences, but enough to take note.
So marriage is good for your heart.
That's right. Not to say that everybody should go out there and get married if they're not ready, but
that's a conversation for another day. There you go. Malika.
Thank you, Malika.
Thank you so
Turn our
much.
attention now to the weather, and we've had enough stress from the weather department to last us a lifetime, just this one winter.
Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher is here. Last day of March. Let's turn things around. Let's get these temperatures up.
Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, March, because this was a brutal month for a lot of folks, and this rainstorm is the biggest that we've seen for quite some time. We're up to 3.65 in Boston. So we basically got all of March's rainfall in just the last few days. And it's the biggest rain event we've seen since back in June. We had a big stretch of really active weather, all those tornado warnings, lots of heavy thunderstorms. And so certainly a soaking system. This is a look back over the last 48 hours. Wave 1 coming through Saturday afternoon and night. And we had another batch rotating through on Sunday. And this morning, had the snow break out there around Connecticut, and that caused all sorts of headaches. Western Mass also included in that. Now, this is all that's left. A few rain and snow showers. Working your way around the Taunton area, and also out toward Cape Cod and the islands. Most of this is spotty. It's another ugly evening, but there is also a little wedge of sun that's starting to come out. We've seen that across Worcester County, so some folks enjoying a much brighter end of the day. There are still flood warnings that are out. The Weather Service issues these for counties, but they're actually for rivers, and we posted those up online, Facebook, on Twitter as well. A lot of the local rivers are in minor flood stage, a lot of standing water. Make sure the kids are keeping a big distance away from that fast-moving water, but those levels will be receding as we head through tonight and into tomorrow. Also still rather gusty winds, 20 to 40 miles per hour, the biggest gust in Nantucket, up to 38, and especially for far eastern parts of the state near the coast, those winds will stay gusty this evening. The ocean is all sorts of chopped up from this one. This is the ocean in Dennis. Mary sent this picture in, some big waves for over 10 feet, and there will be some minor erosion that also takes place through tonight and into tomorrow morning. The last high tide cycle we're really watching is the one around midnight tonight. Could see more minor flooding, Cape Cod up toward Cape Ann. And so certainly for our shoreline folks watching the water, this is the last one to be a little concerned about. But again, minor flooding is the idea. Temperatures fall back in the 20s, all the areas west of Boston tonight, which means any of that standing moisture is going to freeze up. Be extra cautious. Could be some slippery areas. By tomorrow morning, things are calming down. We've got sunrise at 6:27. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Then we'll get temps in the 40s at midday, less wind, and 40s to around 50 during the afternoon. We'll be a little bit cooler at the coastline tomorrow. The winds will be coming in off the water. The water is still very cold. And so you see that on the breakdown across the region. Highs near 50 in Worcester, 49 in Fitchburg, but 45 in Beverly, Chatham to 42. Will certainly be cooler, especially in the afternoon, right there along that water. The idea for the rest of the week is quiet conditions. April is going to start off on a pretty peaceful note. A lot of sunshine as we head into Wednesday. A front will start to set up here back toward the middle of the country, but a lot of the energy with it stays out there. So there'll be some bounces from clouds that move through Wednesday into Thursday, even into Friday, but we really don't get into the rainfall for this until Friday night and into Saturday. We're hoping it waits till after the Sox finish up the home opener at Fenway. Right now, it's like the low 40s. Do anticipate the wind's going to be coming off the water. It's going to be one of those very chilly days at Fenway. Not looking like a big, warm start season at home. But it's April. We really don't expect that either. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. The warmest day this week. How about Wednesday? In the mid-50s. Should be an excellent one to get outside. Close to 50 on Thursday. Both those days will be a little cooler right near the water. And then we get our next chance for rainfall Friday night into Saturday. Just great news. Long stretch for us to dry out, river levels to go down, and we're all into mud season in the backyard.
We are. You're saying a lot of the marathon trainers got their long run in for the last
Saturdays have been excellent. I gotta say.
How'd you do with your 21 mile?
It went really well. And being out on the course on Saturday, it's bigger than most actual races. I mean, there are bands, DJs out there. Everyone's out in the weather cooperative.
Good for you.
Fun atmosphere.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you so much.
I gotta say too, it was so nice seeing the bags of ice gone from the front of the stores.
I did notice that. Hardware stores are down.
That's good stuff. New cars will soon be required to have a rear camera. Talk about handy and safe. Today, federal regulators told automakers they will have to include rear visibility technology on all new cars and light trucks in 4 years. The government believes the rule will greatly reduce incidents where someone is accidentally backed over. And the head of General Motors will be grilled by Congress tomorrow about how it handled a big safety recall. The problem, which is a faulty ignition switch, has been linked to 13 deaths. But there is evidence that GM knew about the defect for a long time before it issued the recall.
There's a valet in Florida who may have to find a new line of work, or at the very least, find a job that's a little farther away from the water, because this is what happened to one of the cars that he parked over the weekend. Turns out our valet forgot to put the car in park, and it rolled down there into the water.
Nice going, Mario.
That's tough on your resume.
How do you explain that one to somebody? Where's my car? It's out there. Kids around the world will have his poster on their walls, no doubt.
LeBron James says a high schooler is his hero. Up next, how he made her dreams come true. And now here, Jack and Lisa, they're going to look at what's coming up at 6. Hi, guys.
Paula and Jonathan new at 6 tonight. A house destroyed by an explosion and fire.
We're going to hear from a man who arrived just moments before that big blast.
Plus, running for Martin.
Why a former state trooper is running the Boston Marathon in honor of the youngest victory.
It's Empire Today's biggest sale. 50% off flooring, 50% off materials, and 50% off installation.
588-2300 Empire. Today.
buying. Pay your bill. Safety's mobile app is just one more way we help you manage life's storms. For auto, home, and business, ask your independent agent about safety insurance.
It's Empire Today's biggest sale. 50% off carpet and flooring, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
It doesn't matter if you love him or you hate him, it really is hard not to admire what LeBron James did over the weekend for a fan who is fighting cancer.
Certainly the greatest. Ebony Nettles-Bay is a 16-year-old who's dreamed of playing in the WNBA and meeting LeBron James. This weekend, her wish came true. Ebony, she was just going to see a game, but the Miami Heat brought her onto the court for warm-ups. She stood with James for the national anthem and was there to watch the game right next to the Heat's bench.
I think that was the best part. They didn't act like stars and stuff. They just act normal, like they knew me for more than the time that I was just here.
The challenges that she's facing every single day with the stage 4 cancer that she has, she's the stronger one out of us two.
The meeting was in Milwaukee. A season ticket holder for the Milwaukee Bucks helped put all of this together, and on Instagram, he put #Ebony=strong.
Oh, that was very sweet of you to do.
Very gracious. Well, we have much more news still ahead.
That's going to do it for us at 5 o'clock, but the news at 6. It starts right now.
And all of a sudden, the whole house exploded.
A house leveled in New Hampshire, and the search for the woman inside the Times.
3 carjackings and a home invasion, all the work of one man, the crime spree spanning 5 towns.
Well, the rain is finally wrapping up, but the river is still swollen. We'll talk about when these flood concerns will ease and when warmer weather returns.
I feel confident with this team.
And on opening day, the guy who correctly picked the Sox to win it all in 2013 makes his prediction for this season.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts now.
And we begin tonight with the latest on breaking news. That wild crime spree finally comes to a crashing end in Bedford. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jack Williams.
I'm Lisa Hughes. This involved 5 communities, carjackings, and a home invasion. Started last night in Haverhill, and the trouble picked up again this afternoon in Newton. The chase went through Newton, Billerica, Concord, and Bedford. Kate Merrill begins our live team coverage tonight in Bedford. Kate?
Lisa, the chase ended right here on the sprawling property in the VA hospital. Right down the road there where you can see utility workers trying to replace that pole. The suspect slammed into that pole and was finally caught. Now, the car here that crashed was stolen from Concord. That's when a stolen truck the man was driving crashed into a tree.
Not every day, not in Concord.
A wild scene in Concord when a police chase comes to a sudden halt outside a Rite Aid.
I heard that shots were fired. The police officer was telling everybody to get back. Shots were fired. And some of my guys went down and said that there were bullet holes in the truck.
You can see the bullet holes in the truck smashed into a tree. Jason Drinkwater saw the whole thing.
They put down spike strips right behind us here at the pumps. And when the car hit him, they actually flew into the gas station. He went off the road right here and never made it back onto the road.
The man behind the wheel then carjacked a woman in that Rite Aid parking lot and took off into Bedford.
We do know that there were shots exchanged between the police and the suspect.
The chase lasted until Spring Street in Bedford on the property of the Veterans Affairs Hospital. The driver was taken into custody and he was injured.
There was visible injury, but again, I don't want to comment further. But he is conscious and alert. He was transported to a local hospital.
Amazingly, with all the high speeds, the chasing and the crashing, no one else was injured in all of this. This also went through Newton. John picks up our team. Newton.
Okay, the streets here in Newton are finally reopened after another wild scene here, like so many statewide. Police believe 2 suspects are responsible for starting this chain of events. They've got one of them in custody tonight. They're looking for the other.
Another few feet, he would have crashed right into the house.
Richard Farina's 93-year-old mother lives here, but luckily wasn't hurt. When around 5 o'clock this morning, a car that police believe had been carjacked out of Haverhill came crashing into her front yard.
When I got here, the police were already here. There's about 30 of them with about 15 different kinds of cruisers. from Haverhill and a few other towns.
Then, just 2 blocks and a few hours later,
Just a light tap, and he was right here.
Antoinette Stewart opened her front door to find a stranger who within seconds had grabbed her keys off of her table and headed to her car.
I said to him, "What are you doing?" And he says, lifted up his shirt, and he had a gun. And he says, "Don't give me any trouble."
The guy took off and minutes later had plowed into 3 cars at the intersection of Washington and Watertown Streets in West Newton, sending one woman to the hospital. An officer on scene jumped out of his SUV to stop the suspect, but he kept going.
The vehicle sped towards that officer. The officer had to discharge his weapon. At this time, we don't know if the vehicle or the suspect was struck.
Witnesses here were shaken.
All the women at the bank went under their desks because they heard the gunshot.
Now, after leaving this scene, police say a suspect next went up to Bill Ricca, where he carjacked someone else, and that was only one of several steps he took before finally ending up in Bedford, as you saw. Live in Newton, Jim Armstrong, WBZ News. Lisa?
Thank you, Jim.
And we're following another developing story in New Hampshire. The search is on for an elderly woman whose home exploded this afternoon and burst into flames. Let's get right to Paul Burton live on the scene right now. And Paul, they believe she was in there when the house did explode.
Jack, that's correct, and right now they're still trying to find that elderly woman. Investigators are still on scene trying to determine the cause of the fire. We spoke with one man who was actually inside this home when it burst into flames.
And all of a sudden, the whole house exploded.
You were inside when
I was in the house when it exploded. I felt the heat and everything in my face.
67-year-old Ron Metcalf fears his dear elderly friend and neighbor, Audrey Angelone, did not make it out alive.
And I tried to find Audrey and I couldn't get to her.
Fire officials say this Pine Street 2-story Cape home in Danville, New Hampshire, went up in flames Monday afternoon. Metcalf, who works for Meals on Wheels, says he had just entered the home.
Thank God I hadn't walked into that fire room because I wouldn't be standing there now. Because that's where the flames came out. And a big ball of flames blew that front wall up.
Fire officials tried to rush in, but the smoke and fire were too strong.
We encountered heavy fire conditions on scene. We immediately went to a defensive attack due to the involvement of fire. We do have strong suspicions that we do have somebody inside the building that was unable to be rescued.
Completely heartbroken, Metcalf says he can't imagine how this could have happened.
One part of our job is to make sure that the people are okay, as well as delivering them a hot meal. Well, today didn't turn out so good, did it?
And right now, the #1 concern is trying to locate Audrey, who is still believed to be inside this home. The fire remains under investigation, and fortunately, no one else was injured. We're live in Danville, New Hampshire. I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News. Lisa, back to you.
Paul, thank you. People in one Lowell neighborhood are using a rubber boat to get around. Days of rain has led to flooding in parts of New England. The good news tonight is that the rain appears to be ending. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher is here now with a first check of a vastly improved AccuWeather forecast. Eric?
Nowhere to go but up, that is for sure. And there around Lowell, a combination of rain and perhaps beaver dams causing some of the flooding that's been going on. Big rain totals anywhere from 3.5 inches in Boston to 5.5 inches of rain since Saturday afternoon in Acushnet. We've all seen the soaking, lots of standing water, and the rivers are running high. They're all at minor flood stage. All these dots, different rivers that are experiencing that. Most of them will be cresting this evening into the first part of the overnight and then falling as we head into the day tomorrow. Just be extra cautious along those rivers. Make sure the kids aren't playing nearby. And that rapidly moving water can certainly pose an issue. But the storm itself, you see the center spinning well off to our south and east. And we're actually getting a little bit of sun at the end of the day here. Starting to dry things out just a little bit. Few showers still continuing for Cape Cod and the islands. That'll continue for a few more hours yet, and then we clear out tonight. Temperatures back into the 20s. Watching out for some icy spots. Much better looking forecast tomorrow. We'll have the details on that coming up. Jack?
Thank you, Eric. Tomorrow, thousands of people will begin to pay their respects to 2 Boston firefighters who were killed last week. The wake for Lieutenant Ed Walsh is tomorrow from 3 until 8 at St. Patrick's Church in Watertown. His funeral is Wednesday morning. Firefighter Michael Kennedy's wake, Wednesday at the Murray Funeral Home in West Roxbury, and his funeral will be Thursday. WBZ will have live coverage of the services for Lieutenant Walsh and Firefighter Kennedy on Wednesday and Thursday.
Now, this ride home is a lot better than the morning commute. A lot of drivers got stuck in a mess near the O'Neill Tunnel. Take a look at this. There were 3 separate crashes in the northbound side of 93 at just about the same time. In all, 19 cars involved, starting with a 9-car chain reaction crash. Only 1 injury, and thank goodness it was minor, but as you can see, there were major delays. Here's some great news tonight. Baseball is back. Opening day for the Red Sox and the defending champs. They're in Baltimore.
Yeah, this is a good time of the year, and our Steve Burton joins us right now. And Steve, Sox are beginning their season without one of their starting outfielders.
Yeah, and he's a key guy, a very key guy. Yes, Shane Victorino strained his right hamstring on Saturday, so the Sox had put him on the 15-day DL and called it back. Jackie Bradley Jr. Sox are in Baltimore for the season opener, and both sides have pitched extremely well. This is a tight game right now. John Lester got the start for the Sox. He went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, 2 runs, struck out 8. His big mistake pitch came in the 7th inning when he gave up a solo home run to Nelson Cruz. Meanwhile, Brady Sizemore got 2 hits today, including a solo homer in the 4th that tied the game at 1. Right now, the Sox are down 2-1 with 2 men on in the 8th inning with 2 outs. So,
well, as we learned last year, hope springs eternal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, there you go.
Thanks,
See if
Steve.
we can pull it out.
Well, we Red Sox fans hope for another title. You know, baseball pundits are sounding a rather sour note. But that was true last year when they eventually went on to win it all. And as John Keller found out, that is simply not sitting well with an Amesbury man who correctly predicted the Sox would win the series in 2013.
Look at this. Rays, 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 Rays. No Red Sox in the series. What do you make of this?
I don't like it.
What are they missing?
I think they're missing a point.
Jim de Beaubriand can't believe it. The Globe's top-notch baseball experts, all picking the Red Sox to fail in their bid for back-to-back titles.
Yeah, that's his rookie year. That's the 1964.
Jim is a devoted fan, but his analysis is more than just wishful thinking.
We're going to have a hustling ball club, and they won't quit on John Farrell. And I'm going to go out on a limb again this year. They like him. You know, they want to play for him. They respect it. They respect the man. He's doing a heck of a job.
Okay, but what about the experts' consensus choice, the Tampa Bay Rays?
They'll be there right to the end, but I don't think they can hold up.
And how about the sleeping giant on our doormat, or rather doorstep, the New York Yankees?
I'm not a Yankees fan, but you have to respect the Yankees. Once you have the Yankees on the ropes, you have to keep them on the ropes. You can't let them off, right? Because they'll come back and they'll do a job on you.
You got to put your foot on them.
Well, that's it. That's it, John.
And Jim's advice to those non-believer experts?
Come talk to me before you make any decisions.
Hear that, Shaughnessy? John Keller, at large, WBZ News.
Well, unfortunately, I just found out the Sox lost today's game 2-1, but tomorrow they're going to be at the White House where they will celebrate their World Series title with President Obama. Dan Roach is going to be there with much more. He'll be live on WBZ News at 6 o'clock.
A family feud turning violent during a funeral. A hip-hop mogul from Boston hit by gunfire, and police say it's a relative who pulled the trigger.
I explained that it would be an honor to run for them and to run in Martin's name.
The former state trooper who took these pictures of the bombing suspect tells us what it's like to dedicate his 2014 Boston Marathon run to the youngest victim of the attacks.
And after a month's worth of rain in just a couple of days, some brighter skies in our forecast will let you know when the floodwaters will start to recede.
Only got a buck? Well, you're in luck. Workout World's running its $1 down sale for 8 days only. Join Workout World for just $1 down and only $10 a month with no commitment. But hurry, sale ends April 8th at midnight. Only at Workout World.
Leave it to Bernie and Phil's to make adjustable beds affordable for all. Spend as little as $6.99 on an adjustable base, and we'll give you a free Select Sealy mattress. Do whatever you want to do in bed. Read, watch TV, work, or sleep at a more comfortable angle. And do it all for less with a free Select Sealy mattress, an adjustable base.
Come see why Bernie and Phil's is the #1 Sealy dealer in New England.
Bernie and Phil, quality, comfort, and price. That's nice.
Seize that dream in your own backyard. Outstanding academics, career smart programs, cost smart programs, 9 institutions, 9 neighbors. for the Commonwealth, for you, your incredible state university system.
Excuse me, do your dentures come with a guarantee?
Guarantee. No.
Okay, hold it. Let's try something new.
Mr. Stevens, your dentures are completely guaranteed.
Really?
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 Wow. Aspen Dental is doing whatever it takes to give America a healthy mouth, like guaranteeing your dentures or your money back. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL, because your mouth is our mission.
Teddy Bruschi here. Let's analyze this important play. Here's a patient scheduling an MRI at her doctor's office. The receptionist reaches for the same old folder, ready to send the patient to the same old hospital. But the patient says, wait, I want to go to Shields MRI. She knows that Shields offers a quality MRI that could save her up to $1,000 or more. Now that's a key defensive move. Why ever pay for an MRI? Choose to go where I go. Shields MRI.
There is a smarter way, a cleaner way to power our homes and our businesses for the future. You can reduce your energy costs and improve your energy efficiency with the help of Boston's IBEW Local 103. Go to the103advantage.com to find out how you can produce your own clean power at home and at work. Sign up now to have a licensed professional electrician contact you. IBEW Local 103, the leader in renewable energy.
Only got a buck? Well, you're in luck. Workout World's running its $1 down sale for 8 days only. Join Workout World for just $1 down and only $10 a month with no commitment. But hurry, sale ends April 8th at midnight. Only at Workout World.
The nephew of a rapper and hip-hop mogul with Boston roots is behind bars tonight, accused of shooting his uncle during a funeral procession. Guy Scott is facing attempted murder charges. Scott admits he shot Raymond Scott defending his family. Raymond Scott, who goes by the name Benzino, was shot in the shoulder driving in his mother's funeral procession. Former Pop Warner football coach in Leominster is behind bars tonight. He's facing charges of sexually assaulting one of his players. Benjamin Browse was in court today. Browse coached kids in football in Leominster from the 1990s through 2008 and in Lunenburg from 2009 to 2010. He's accused of giving alcohol to a boy between 12 and 16 years old and then abusing him.
He will always be remembered as the trooper who took the arrest photos of accused marathon bomber Johar Tsarnaev. He calls his pictures the real face of terror. Our chief correspondent, Joe Shortsleeve, says now the former state trooper is trying to help a family shattered by the evil acts that marathon Monday.
It's important to me because what happened to the Richards family could have happened to anyone.
Former State Trooper Sean Murphy will be running the marathon for little 8-year-old Martin Richard, who was killed in bombing 1 year ago. Murphy will be part of the team MR8, which are Martin's initials and his age.
He was photographed shortly before the marathon incident holding up a project he did for school. And it said, "No more hurting people, peace." And that has become their message of the organization.
Of course, Sean Murphy is the state police trooper who took these pictures of the accused marathon bomber as Dzhokhar Tsarnaev was being arrested. He gave them to Boston Magazine without permission after he was angered by this cover of Rolling Stone magazine, which he says upset many survivors.
For them to be traumatized by what Rolling Stone did, and for me knowing that I had the real images of the face of terror, it was very simple. I knew I had to do it. I've slept comfortably ever since.
Murphy, who's now retired, says on this anniversary he just wants to help those who lost the most.
All of Boston was hurt last year, and I think that everyone wants to help. So for me to help them, for me to run 26 miles for them is nothing compared to what they're doing every day.
So even though he's never run a marathon, Murphy predicts he'll have no trouble making it here to the finish line. But just to be certain, he'll be practicing on the hills of Newton tomorrow. In Boston, Joe Shortsleeve, WBZ News.
And former Trooper Murphy, we're all pulling for you, and by the way, proud of you. WBZ proud to be the official TV station of the Boston Marathon. You can watch Trooper Murphy and the rest of the MR8 team right here on April the 21st. Well, I can tell you this was a real stinker of a weekend, wasn't it?
Except for Saturday in that little window when so many of the runners actually
I got to learn to get up, you know.
Oh, yeah, you sleeping through that, you know. Well, next time you'll get up. And I know, Eric, you were out on the course. You got the only good window.
You know what? I promise everyone you can get outside safely, we would cooperate, and if the weather on the 21st is just like it was last Saturday morning, everyone would be happy. We all know what happened after the morning time on Saturday. The rain set in, and in Boston since then, 3.65 inches of rain. Pretty much the entire necessity for March. The average is 3.8, and we just got it in a couple of days' time. It's the biggest rain event we've seen here since back in June. We had numerous thunderstorms over the course of a week. Here's a look at the whole storm. We had the big slug move through Saturday night into Sunday morning. Scattered showers after that. Then the back edge here, which brought snow down to D.C., and then this morning over toward Connecticut. It was a big mess there in the 91 corridor. Around here, things are finally winding down. Just a few showers left, particularly Cape Cod and the islands. There's actually a little bit of cloud cover breaking up here, so some sunshine at the end of the day. We definitely deserve it. All right, flood warnings that are still out. The Weather Service issues these. They appear as counties, but they're actually for rivers. And we put this information up online, Twitter, Facebook. The idea is that pretty much all rivers that have gauges on them are running into minor flood. All of them crest this evening into the first part of the overnight. They will be falling through the day tomorrow. The only river that will crest later is the Merrimack, and that will be tomorrow afternoon. Again, minor flooding. In terms of our wind gusts, they're still rather brisk here, especially down towards southeastern parts of the state. Nantucket's still gusting to 44, and that will continue through the evening. Those winds have been chopping up the ocean. Angry sea here. Mary sent this one in from Dennis. 10 to 12-foot waves out there, and that could cause some minor erosion heading through tonight. The last high tide cycle we have to deal with is the one centered around midnight. There are coastal flood advisories up from the North Shore right on down to Cape Cod and Nantucket. Again, minor flooding anticipated. If you've lived by the ocean for a long time, stuff that you certainly are very familiar with. Lows tonight back into the 20s to around the freezing mark. A lot of standing moisture out here, which means all that will be freezing up. There could be some slick spots. When the sun comes up tomorrow morning, it's going to be a much warmer day. 40s to low 50s. The warmest, you get away from the ocean, right near the water, we're talking about low to mid-40s. So there'll be a cooler influence at the coast. Otherwise, your sunrise is at 6:27. We're looking at a good day. Things will be drying out. The water levels will be receding, and the wind will be lighter than what we've seen throughout the course of today. Generally about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And your sunset at 7:10. The idea for the rest of the week, quiet conditions. It's a mix of sun and clouds as we head through the next couple. And then the next rain event approaches Friday night and off into Saturday. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day. Very seasonable temps. 55 on Wednesday should feel great. Around 50 on Thursday. At the Sox home opener, it's going to be cold. Wind off the water, low 40s. And then our next rain chance Friday night into Saturday. All right, Jack, Lisa, back to you.
Eric, thank you. It looked like a gorgeous afternoon at Camden Yards, although the game didn't end that well.
No, but you know, they always make it exciting.
It's always the first one. It would be nice to get the first one, but you know what? Hey, it happens. There's still a whole lot more baseball to be played. Frustrating day for the Red Sox. They lost the season opener today in Baltimore 2-1. Sox left, get this, 12 men on base and still couldn't capitalize in a low-scoring affair. Grady Sizemore, making his Red Sox debut after missing the last 2 years with knee surgery, singled in his first at bat, then belts the solo home run to right in the fourth. His first homer since July 15th, get this, of 2011, and it tied the game at 1. Sox had plenty of good chances to score more runs, but they just couldn't get that timely hit. Here in the 6th, Xander Bogaerts on third. Will Middlebrooks grounds out to end the inning. Yikes. Moved to the bottom of the 7th. Still 1-1 when Nelson Cruz changes that, cranking his first homer as an Oriole off John Lester. The solo shot putting the O's ahead 2-1. Lester pitched well, allowing only 2 runs. Top of the 8th we go. Still 2-1. Sox again threatened with 2 on and 2 out. But A.J. Przinsky can't bring him in. Grounding back to the pitcher to end the threat. Top of the 9th. Last chance for the Sox. Again, they have 2 on and 2 out. But Jackie Bradley, who came in to pinch run for Mike Napoli, goes down looking, and that's your ball game. The Orioles win the season opener 2-1 the final. Now, in other Red Sox news, outfielder Shane Victorino was placed on the 15-day disabled list this morning with a strained right hamstring. You heard it during Saturday's final spring training game in Fort Myers. Jackie Bradley Jr. was called up to take his place on the roster. Although Dan Roach will be live tonight at 11 with post-game reaction from today's opener. He'll also be with the Sox tomorrow when they head to the White House for a reception with President Obama, commemorating the 2013 World Series Championship. Well, after losing to the Bulls last night at the Garden, the Celtics get a chance to return the favorite tonight in Chicago on the back end of a home-and-home series. But they won't have Rajon Rondo in the lineup as he continues to take the second night of the back-to-back games off to rest his surgically repaired knee. However, he will be part of the broadcast doing color commentary during the first quarter alongside play-by-play man Mike Gorman, so that should be pretty interesting. Bruins news for you. Patrice Bergeron was named the NHL's second star of the week today after racking up 5 goals and assists in 4 games last week. Bergeron has scored a goal in 7 straight games. You know, it's 27 on the season, Second on the team behind Jerome McGinley's 30. 30 goals for McGinley. Bergeron doing well. Red Sox just couldn't get over the hump. 12 on base.
Bring in baseball.
I know.
We're
We're
so happy.
Thanks, Steve. CBS Evening News coming up in a moment at 6:30.
And Scott Pelley joins us live from New York with a preview. Scott?
Lisa, Jack, great to be with you. In Boston, GM a short time ago announced another 1.3 million cars are being recalled. This on top of another recall that's being investigated by Congress tomorrow, a recall that's been associated with 13 deaths. Our Jeff Glore will have our investigation into all of this, and we'll have the rest of the world news coming up for you on the CBS Evening News in about 10 minutes.
All right, Scott, thank you. Boston's gun buyback. Is the program working?
And what police are doing with these guns they take in when we come back.
The last look. The last kiss. The last slap. I'm gonna miss you. When the mother of all comedies ends.
Wait for it.
A new comedy begins.
Her pregnancy hormones have kicked in. Now she can smell everything.
Which one of you dudes went to a strip club?
Friends with better lives after the finale of How I Met Your Mother. CBS tonight.
Seasons change, and so do styles. What never changes is the untouchable value at My Bob's Discount Furniture.
Bed with storage, $5.99. Dresser and mirror, $6.99. Chest, $4.99. Nightstand, $1.99. Altogether, $19.96. But sorry, Mr. Competitor, you get it all. Only $17.99. No phony sales, no phony gimmicks, just untouchable value.
Thanks to you, 50 stores strong.
I just was thinking any minute could be the minute, and the minutes kept passing. Both kind of relaxed and thought, she'll come when she's ready. And she came. She was so perfect.
Buying eyeglasses is personal. Do they make me look too old? I get the ones. Glasses will improve your vision. But the right glasses are an extension of your personality. Cambridge Eye Doctors is now VisionWorks. Get 2 complete pairs for $99 or 2 pairs of no-line bifocals for $179. VisionWorks, where you'll find more than a pair of glasses. You'll find a better you.
Hey, son. Can I borrow your car?
Again? How long?
Not long.
You're not going to do anything stupid, are you? Oh. And have it home by 10. 10? Okay, midnight.
The Mercedes-Benz CLA.
Dad!
Available at Herb Chambers for an affordable $30,895.
Hurry into Sleepy's for our lowest prices of the season. First ever, save up to 65% off practically every mattress in the store. Get Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest Queen sets starting at just $3.99. Get free delivery on the new Serta I-Series. Plus, get a 50-inch HD TV absolutely free with select models. Only at Sleepy's, the mattress professionals. Just Sleepy's for the rest of your life.
4 New Hampshire police officers involved in that deadly shootout are suing the federal government right now for information about the incident. Greenland Chief Michael Maloney, remember, was shot to death during a drug raid back in April of 2012. 4 other officers wounded in that raid. Now, those officers say the Department of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has some information they simply have not released about what happened. The officers filed a lawsuit to get the ATF to release everything on that case. Well, a Fitchburg family in shock tonight after a fast-moving fire killed 2 people. The early morning fire raced through the home on East Street. After this morning, 7 people, including 2 children, did manage to get out of the burning building, but 2 adults on the 2nd floor didn't make it. Neighbors rushed in to help. It was too late.
Tonight, Boston police are calling the city's gun buyback program a success. People have turned in more than 135 guns And this is a program that's only been up and running for a week. Police stress it is anonymous. You can turn in a gun, no questions asked. They also have this warning for kids tonight. Treat any gun you see as if it's real and be sure to tell an adult about it.
If you see something that looks like a gun, you think of that as real. It's not a toy. Call an adult, call a guardian, call a teacher, whatever. Do not pick the firearm up.
Great advice. Police are testing each one of these guns they take in to make sure that it is not connected to any past crimes. And the guns, they say, are then destroyed.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Massachusetts State University System, building the innovation economy for tomorrow's Commonwealth. Learn more at massstateuniversities.com.
I'll be standing right there on the finish line. I'll be talking to the runners as they come across, and you see their face light up, and you understand the accomplishment they have just achieved. That is a moment that's fun to celebrate with them. I like being the first high five they give when they come across the line. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for the opportunity to be back down here again. I'm excited to tell the stories of the runners coming across that finish line who worked so hard. That feeling of triumph, overcoming so many obstacles. I'm really excited for this year's race. This will be a fantastic marathon.
Why sleep on a no-name mattress when you can have a Sealy for less?
The Sealy Posturepedic Classic at Bernie and Phil's.
Classic Posturepedic quality, starting at just $3.99 for a queen set.
Come see why Bernie and Phil's is the #1 Sealy dealer in New England.
Dentures are very different to real teeth. They're about 10 times softer and may have surface pores where bacteria can multiply. Polident kills 99.99% of odor-causing bacteria and helps dissolve stains. So dentures are cleaner, fresher, and brighter.
Polident.
That was awesome.
How do you make your family vacation this epic? Go to visitflorida.com.
There's a new light shining on the future of healthcare. On forward-thinking care that's close to home. Welcome to Leahy Health. To nationally recognized doctors, award-winning hospitals, and clinical excellence in primary care in all corners of medicine. Just around the corner. Healthcare for who matters most. You. Leahy Health.
Remember when you may have gotten your first fluoride treatment? When you received dental sealants? When you first wore a mouth guard when playing sports? When you were reminded that flossing was just as important as brushing and regular dental checkups? Since 1864, the Massachusetts Dental Society has been there to protect your good oral health. And we're still protecting it 150 years later. When you trust your mouth to an MDS member, remember, you're always in good hands.
Lisa has quite a story for tonight's 11.
11-time marathoner, newcomer, both running the Boston Marathon for the One Fund. Great story.
Well, that does it for us. Hope you have a great night.
We'll see you later.